Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Are we ready?
Yeah,
For what?
for meeting the headhunters. Why am I so conscious? For meeting the headhunters. The headhunters.
Who would have thought that there will be a place that shares an international boundary without even a fence? When you plan for a trip, you would typically look for a place online, research on it, and find all top places and visit it. So when Nini told me that she was taking me to a unique village on my birthday, like always, I googled it but found nothing online. But she has always been the planner, so I trusted her like I always did. We set forth to this remote village that shared boundaries with Myanmar, a mystery place where people were not divided by boundaries and lived as one people, two nations. A place that was home to a warrior tribe who has the history of beheading human heads of rival tribes, mostly for survival. And that place is Longwa of Dreamland, Nagaland, the place where the fierceful Konyak tribes lived. At that point, our work base was in Dimapur. Now, the direct route to Longwa was really bad, so as recommended by the locals, we took a route that went through Assam and then back to Nagaland. The route was rough and quite bumpy, and the locals witty referred it to as massage roads. We finally reached Longwa and stayed in a homestay that was just opposite the king's residence. The Indo-Myanmar border passed right through the center of his home. As quirky it might sound, he literally could be sitting there with his right leg in Myanmar and the left leg in India. The main hall had many collections of the king, which included these large instruments called a gong and skulls of various animals. It's said that there used to be human skulls, but after the tribe accepted Christianity, they buried them all. We then passed through a dark corridor, which by the way is an international border. The king had around 30 villages, out of which only 5 are in India and the rest are in Myanmar. This is the only place in India where people could hold dual citizenship and they were free to work and vote both in India and in Myanmar. Later, the queen also came to meet us. She was quite a craft person, making these beautiful ornaments herself.
This is bone. Oh, this is bone. Like it?
I love it.
Even the brass lockets were all made by the village metalsmith. So we went to meet them as well.
Yeah, if you shave,
Does he look like me?
he does.
Is it the replica of my face?
Kinda.
In the past, the necklaces were usually worn by the Konyak Headhunters, and the number of heads in the necklace depicted the number of heads that were ripped off during the wars. Many of the villages even today wear these brass skull necklaces, which symbolizes this heritage. As part of the old traditions of Konyak, those who returned from these wars with the most number of heads would be revered as a warrior, and as per our guide, they would get inked on the neck. But these neck-tattooed warriors were no more alive. So the next ranked headhunters were the face-tattooed headhunters. We asked him, what is it that has changed from then to now? To which he answered that it's a lot more peaceful now and he's very happy. Which kind of brought a shift in our perspectives. Yes, we live in times where there are wars still happening and things are quite ambiguous. But when compared to the times of Kempe and Penjon Konyak, we are still in a much more peaceful time. During their time, They were even scared to sleep and they had to do brutal things in order to protect their tribe, families, and essentials. Guns were a common sight in Longwa, which were mainly used for hunting animals. The village had their own gun makers who were quite good at making vintage guns. You don't need license to buy these guns, but they were allowed to carry them only within Nagaland. Next, we hiked up the vantage point of the village to do some hopping between two countries. It was a nice 20 to 30 minutes hike with some really nice views. Most of the homes here were thatched huts that were made of bamboo, and the roof was generally made of strawed palm leaves, which added to the raw, beautiful aesthetics of this village. This used to be one of the trees where the hunted heads were hung to scare off any kind of foreign entry. The last stretch of the hike was slightly steep.
Are you okay, baby?
The vantage point had a stone with Burmese written on one side and Hindi on the other.
Burma. India. Burma. India. India.
Yeah, balance. Burma. India. India. Burma.
We hiked a little further from there to reach the watchtower.
That's the way to Myanmar. This path, you see.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So it's from here you actually see the village's beauty.
Yeah.
From down there you don't get to see this, right?
Oh.
Especially look at all the houses. They're like all those brown roofs. And then you have the king's house. And then you have the church. And then you see the...
Backdrop is of just pure mountain.
Yeah, and this landscape is very different from Arunachal Pradesh and all, right? It's
Yeah.
like... I don't know how to explain this.
This is called a morung. It's like an institute and a community center in the earlier days. Nowadays, they use this only during festivals. In our Hornbill episode, we showed you how the Awo tribe played a log drum. The same instrument was there in this morung.
Any important event that happens here, sad, happy, festival, there are 20 people standing on that side, 20 people standing on this side, and there are these things that is actually put inside, right? There are more of these. And they take it and they make this sound. So that's like a, what drum is it? Log drum.
Wow.
That's beautiful, right?
I was trying to avoid your frame that you're taking me, bugger.
That's a lizard. This is another lizard on the wall. Say hi. Hello. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'm going back. See, before coming to good or bad, right? It's like, it's something that's so different. It's something that you would not expect to actually exist in these times. Right? It's mind blowing. It's like as if you have traveled back 100 years and you have gone to a village where a king was like, ruling this village. There's a king, there's a queen. So it's a combination of quirky, eerie things and then some really good things, like positive things that we wish that that existed in other places, like how the borders, they are just traveling across and coming back and across the borders for like daily work, and they don't have any visas or anything. They just coexist peacefully. That's something I think in India, this is the closest I could come to a border and see normal life being there rather than people sitting with a gun and like pointing at each other.
In a few years, the last of the headhunting warriors will be gone. However, the Konyak Tribes' warrior past and fierce legacy will live on through their beautiful traditions and festivals. And we hope to be back here to celebrate at least one festival with them in this village.